Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to figure out if a company is spinning gold or just trying to pull the wool over our eyes. Today we're digging into a filing that's a bit different. It is about issuing shares, but not the kind you'd typically see on a big stock exchange. Let's see what's really going on here. Before we dive in, if you like getting these clear, no fluff explanations of what companies are actually up to, hit that subscribe button, and for more in-depth discussions and to connect with fellow corporate sleuths, join our Discord community link down in the description. So what we have here is a report from Nordicus Partners Corporation. It is dated the 5th of December 2025 and it talks about some really interesting share deals that happened in the last few months of 2025. The core of this report is about the company selling shares to a small group of private investors. They sold a total of 416,000 shares to just 8 people. Now these weren't shares traded on a public stock market like you might be used to. These are what they call restricted shares, and they were sold between October and December of 2025. Each one of these shares was sold for $2.75. So if you do the math, that is 416,000 shares times $2.75, which comes out to a little over $1 million in total that the company raised. This part is crucial. The company explicitly states these shares were not registered under the main securities law in the US, the Securities Act of 1933, or any state laws. This means these investors are not getting shares that could be freely traded on major stock exchanges without further steps. They are using a specific exemption for these sales. This typically means they believe they sold these shares directly to investors who are sophisticated enough to understand the risks involved and who did not require the full protections of a public offering. It also suggests they didn't do any widespread advertising for these shares. The buyers likely fall into a category called accredited investors. This usually means they are individuals or entities that meet certain income or net worth thresholds, or they have a certain level of financial knowledge. Companies can sell shares to these investors without going through the lengthy and costly process of registering with the government. This reinforces that it wasn't a public announcement or general advertisement. They were probably approached directly or through specific channels. They also mention an exemption under Regulation S, which applies to sales made to people outside the United States. This suggests that some, if not all, of these 8 investors are not US residents, and the company made sure not to actively promote these shares within the US. When it comes to Nordicus Partners Corporation, we know from the filing that it is incorporated in Delaware. That is a common state for companies to set up in due to its business-friendly laws. The filing also gives us their commission file number, which is 001-11737. This is like their unique ID with the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC. And signing off on behalf of the company is Anrik Ruff, who is listed as the Chief Executive Officer. This tells us he is the top boss making sure these official filings are done correctly. Now, looking at this filing, what is the overall story? Nordicus Partners Corporation isn't engaging in a broad public stock offering right now. Instead, they've privately sold a significant chunk of their shares to a small group of investors. This can be a way for companies to raise capital quickly without the scrutiny and cost of a public offering. It is often done by companies that are either just starting out or perhaps they have specific strategic reasons to bring in these particular investors. The fact that these shares are restricted and sold under specific exemptions means the investors can't just turn around and sell them on the open market tomorrow. There are limitations and rules they have to follow. This could be because the company is not yet public, or these shares have special conditions. From a Warren Buffett perspective, you'd want to understand why they are selling these shares privately. Are they raising money to fund a big expansion? Are they covering operational costs? And who are these 8 investors? Are they strategic partners who bring more than just money like industry connections or expertise, without more information on the company's business and the investors? It is hard to say if this is a sign of strength or a sign of desperation. The big takeaway here is that this isn't a typical public market event. It's a private transaction. It shows the company is actively managing its ownership structure, and capital we're not seeing dramatic financial tables here, as this filing is more about the mechanics of a private stock issuance. Investors in these types of deals are often expected to be more knowledgeable and absorb more risk. In conclusion, Nordicus Partners Corporation has successfully secured over $1 million through a private placement of restricted shares to a select group of investors, likely accredited or foreign. This move has been carefully structured to comply with securities law exemptions, avoiding the complexities of a public offering. It signals a deliberate approach to capital raising and ownership management away from the public eye. It is neither inherently good nor bad. But it does mean that transparency and readily available information for typical investors is limited. The company's direction here will depend heavily on how this capital is deployed and the long-term intentions of these new shareholders. Alright, that is our breakdown of Nordicus Partners Corporation's latest filing. What do you think this private share issuance means for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more corporate deep dives. Don't forget to check out our Discord community linked in the description for ongoing discussions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.